I'm here. Hello, one and all. Welcome to the Temple Report this fine Holy Thursday for the Orthodox brethren. This is Holy Thursday. Their Easter is this week. This is their Holy Week. It's a long story, but that's the way it is. So, and you know, it's strange actually because it's two different. The Orthodox keep a different calendar from the Latin Church, the Western Church. But in Spain, they have Christmas the same time in January as the Orthodox. Spain's a Catholic country. I don't know. I don't understand any of it, but there we go. Spain also keeps the wrong time. They keep Berlin time. Something to do with the Nazis. I don't know. Anyway, welcome one and all, and God bless you all, and welcome in here. And again, to all our Orthodox people worldwide watching this. And John Kopasaki in. John Kopasaki's in, yes. And a very holy Thursday to you, my Orthodox brother. God bless you. Right. Wee bit of scripture before we get ripped into this. Let me see. Don't tell me. No, I've got it here. So it's Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Hear ye the Lord. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the miracles of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your minds, that ye may prove that which is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. Amen. And may know the Lord will bless this public reading of his infallible, inspired, and inerrant word. And the people of God said, Amen and amen indeed. What's happened here? Have I frozen? Have I frozen, Sammy? Oh, I've got a lag as well. I don't know if I'm frozen here. Something's weird happening. Don't know. Maybe I'm back again. How strange. Don't know what's happened there. It's the Russians or the Jews or maybe both. Talking about, I've got a funny thing to show you today as well. Anyway, we better address the elephant in the room. But got other things to talk about today as well. Is the crazy stuff. Marty says Trump is evil. Well, you know, we can't go that far, and we must be sensitive of our American brethren, who is their president, not ours. No lag, but it's not full screen. That's strange. How's that? I don't know how that is. I've got a black border on me. How's that? Wait a minute, see if I can fix that. Hey, as Paulie says. Paulie Walnuts in The Sopranos. Hey, so we're okay now. Ewan, I wonder if you could do me a favour and put up the link to the boys. You know, the boys we support in England. They're putting flags up this week, and I want to tell the people about it. You know, the Defend Our Streets, Take Our Street Back boys, the Christian defence thing. If you could get a link for that, I'd really appreciate it, because they're going to be doing something. I'll tell you about it in a wee minute. In fact, I'll tell you about it now. We've just sent them another massive load of Templar flags and St. George flags, and they're going to put them up in all the lampposts around their area, because the council's getting very funny. And our contact there is a really good guy, Jamie. He was supposed to be confirmed in the Church of England this week. And I says, that won't happen, brother. That won't happen, Jamie. They won't do it. And he says, no, everyone's fine. Everyone's okay. They're fine. And everyone's okay. I says, it won't be. Because they're snakes. They'll never tell you to your face they don't like you. But they'll do something. They'll come back and went, we can't do it until we get permission from the bishop, and who's probably a woman. So it didn't happen. So the man never got confirmed. So I said to him, don't worry about it when you come over here. We don't do confirmations, but if you want one, we'll do one for you. Just that's fine. So they're going to get and they get rid of all the houses of multiple occupancy, all the immigrants out of the town, but the council's trying to open another one. So Jamie and the boys, and they've done a good job. That's the guys we gave the vests and the torches and the walkie-talkies to and the cameras. They're going to hit the whole district with flags. Now, to do that, because what's happening now is the police are arresting people, and it's getting a bit rough, and the reds are turning out, and there's a bit hullabaloo. So what they're going to do it quick and efficiently is hire a cherry picker. You know, these things, these scissor lifts, drive them, and you straight up, put the flags up, next one. So within an hour, they can blitz the whole area and do that. To hire one of them, these boys have no money at all. They're just working class lads. To hire one's about $500. So I says, look, I'll ask our people, see if we can do it. So if you can do it, the link's there. Let's help Jamie and the Christian defenders in that area to get the flags up, because it's really making a big impact in the area. You've no idea. I mean, Jamie's got about 12 of these guys going to church now, and it's unbelievable. It's fantastic. And it's exactly what the Templars are all about. And they're really devoted to their work, and they're good guys. So let's help them get a cherry picker and let's get it up. It's okay saying to folk, do this and do that. But as a senior organisation, and the Templars are a senior organisation, we need to try and help them. So it's $500. Let's see if we can get it done. Let's go. And if anybody puts a donation in, let me know. Tell me here and I'll thank you. Okay, let's get it done. They're good lads. Yes, Roger Madison. He's a very wise man, Roger Madison. I just want to tell you that. I know Roger Madison. He's a very smart guy. Very smart man. He says, the evil isn't Trump. There's some evil around him and a heretical witch, by the way. Roger, you're 110% correct. Trump's not so much evil. I think Trump's very, very silly at times, but he is surrounded by bad people, really bad people. I mean, really, really bad people. John Hagee, Paula White, and some other lunatics that's on the fringes, and that's the thing. But I want to talk to you as well today about, there's a certain, now remember, I am an Ulster, Northern Ireland Protestant. Our people are renowned for fighting with the Catholic Church. We've been doing it for hundreds of years. So when this comes from me, it's serious. There is definitely an anti-Catholic bias creeping about in that White House. And I think it's Pete Hegseth that's doing it. And that Paula White, I don't know what she is. She's a nutter. Who knows? She's just anti-everything. But there is. Senior Catholics are not being invited to these sort of prayer meetings they're having and all the rest of it. And it seems to be a very cold house now for the Catholic officials. Now, whether they like it or not, America's got an awful lot of Roman Catholics in it. And whether you like it or not, that's the way it is. And to freeze people out is not good. And then I get told yesterday or this morning that some Pentagon official basically threatened a papal nuncio, basically saying, we're America, we've got a big, massive, strong army, we can do what we want, and the Catholic Church better figure out what side it's on. Really? Try to strong arm the Catholic Church? Try to strong arm the Vatican? Really? There's stupid, and then there's really stupid. Let me tell you something. The Catholic Church has 2 billion people. They have an office in every single village and town across the Western world and beyond. Okay? They turn over trillions of dollars every year. They have hundreds of thousands of full-time staff, priests, monks, nuns, and such like. There is not a power on earth that can threaten the Roman Catholic Church. None. Not even America. Not even America. And if you go against the Roman Catholic Church, you will lose. Okay? You will lose. 100% guaranteed. That's it. And when my forebears took them on, because we were Catholics and we turned Protestant in the 1600s, when we took the Catholic Church on, we had the 30 Years' War in Europe, which killed half the entire population of Europe. Nowadays, that would be about 300 million people. Half the population of Europe died. And we never defeated them. The Catholic Church couldn't defeat the Protestants, but the Protestants couldn't defeat the Catholics. We fought each other at a standstill. And thankfully, the Swedes came in and said, no more of it. But that's after half the population of Europe perished. Half the entire population of Europe. So a warning to the Pentagon and the officials and anybody else in Trump's administration who thinks they can throw their weight about regarding the Pope and the Vatican and the Catholic Church. Forget it. Walk away. Walk away. Listen, if you can't beat Iran, if you can't beat Afghanistan, you can't beat Iraq, you ain't going to beat the Catholic Church. Just get that into your heads for your own good, or you will regret it. But I don't like to see this. This level of anti-Catholic bias is got to stop. It's got to stop. It really has got to be knocked in the head. It's not good enough. Now, the White House should reflect the population. Yes, the population is Protestant and Catholic, equal numbers nowadays, sort of. America was always a deeply Protestant country. It's not now. So it should be Protestant representations in there. Not Paula White. Paula White is not a Protestant. She's some kind of whacked-out, crackpot, charismaniac. She's not a Protestant. Stop saying she's a Protestant. It's nothing to do with us. We don't want her. Thank you very much. But there should be proper Protestants here, like Reformed people, like a couple of senior Presbyterians, some senior Roman Catholics, maybe bishops or something like that. And there should be maybe even one Orthodox bishop or something in there. That's the way it should be. The three main strands of Christendom should be represented Why these wacko charismaniacs are in there, I do not know. Don't know. But it needs to stop. And I think the order is already from another incident we heard about last week regarding the White House freezing out Catholics. I think the order has already dispatched a letter to the White House voicing our concerns about this development and asking that the clarification can be given. So I'll let you know how we got on with that if the letter ever gets answered. But it's not on. Anyway, who's in here? Even Eggerson, it's ironic since Edgar's got a Catholic Jerusalem cross tattoo. I know, it's bonkers. Listen, I'm getting very fed up with that Pete Hesketh. He talks like a cardboard gangster. He really does. He's like a comic strip tough guy. He's not right. There's something not right about him. There's something not right about Pete Hesketh. Something not, and I thought he was great at the beginning. There's something not right about him. Again, he's got Deuce Vault down his arm, a Jerusalem cross, and he's kicking up with Roman Catholics. Hello? Mad. 2 US presidents were Catholics, John F. Kennedy and Joe Biden, of course. Our lives on earth and ideologies carry on. Absolutely. It's craziness. I don't know where this madness is coming from. I really don't know where this is coming from. Nick Griffin, how many divisions of the Pope? How many divisions has the Pope? Joe Stalin. Yeah. Well, I would say the geopolitical power the Vatican's got makes Russia, America, China look like amateurs. I remember a guy in the CIA wrote a book years ago. I read it, and he said if the CIA really wanted in-depth, deep knowledge, they would go to the Vatican and ask the Catholics what did they know about such and such, because they know everything. So be very careful. Be very careful. Very careful indeed. Anyway, moving on to the madness, which is engulfing us. Well, the ceasefire didn't last long, did it? But where's my crystal ball? Do you remember I said to you on Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? Tuesday, I said, what'll happen? No, Monday. No, was it Tuesday? Tuesday, aye. Tuesday, in a few hours from my show, Armageddon was going to break out, and Trump had threatened to wipe out an entire civilization. Can you imagine it? This is insane talk. People say, it's the art of the deal. Listen, he's not selling real estate. He is the president of the United States of America, the leader of the free world. You can't talk like that. There is etiquette that we must adhere to, or else we become barbarians and savages. This is ghetto talk. Anyway, I told you at the time, something will happen later on today, and miraculously there'll be a peace deal. Did I tell you that, or did I not tell you that? And I told you that, and it happened. All of a sudden, this 10-point plan arrived. Now, this is really shocking. This is really shocking. And I don't know if most of our American brethren here will even believe me, but I'm telling you the truth. So that shocking plan came out, and I'm sure you've all seen it now. It was absolutely shocking. Uranium enrichment still being allowed, and reparations getting paid for damages, and so on and so forth. And Lebanon was mentioned, a ceasefire, because if Iran and America are going to stop fighting, well, the proxies have got to stop fighting. That means the Hezbollah stop fighting and Israel stop fighting, because that's the two proxies. Israel's related to America, Hezbollah's related to Iran. So that was the deal. And that would have been fair. However, the deal, the ink on the page wasn't even dry, and Trump put stuff out saying this is all a lie by CNN, and I'm going to sue them. Yeah, of course not. But they were even denying that this was even a real piece of paper or a real deal. Well, sadly for the Trump administration, the person who actually put it together and wrote it is tweeted out. He's the Field Marshal, acting president of Pakistan. He was the guy with Americans who were in the room negotiating it and putting it down on paper. Now, nobody said that America had agreed to it, okay? Nobody said America had agreed to it. But America did say it's workable. That was the words. And the Pakistani leader has said that. They presented that to the Americans. They consulted with Donald Trump and they said, it's workable. They never said they would agree to it. Of course not. They just said, it's something we'll look at and we'll see what happens with it. But then, within hours, to deny it was ever even a real thing is a different level of lies. It's on a different level of lying. And that's exactly what it is. And I can't dress it up for you. It is bare-faced, absolute, cast-iron lies. Lies. This was the piece of paper and the 10 points put down it that was handed to the Americans that Donald Trump said, no, whether he'd even seen it at that point, I don't know, but he said it's workable. Nobody said they'd agree with it. Nobody said we're going to do it. But he said, it's workable. So that's the basis of beginning of a negotiated settlement. But here's what gets very bad. In July, when there was talks with the USA was very much involved in, and that was a very good thing of America, there was talks involving Israel, Iran, and Hezbollah regarding the whole carry-on that was going on at the time. They decided to hold talks. And during those talks, the apartments where the negotiators for Hamas, not Hezbollah, Hamas, sorry, where the negotiators for Hamas were staying and living during the negotiations were bombed. You may think, who cares? They're Hamas terrorists. Look, that's not how the world works. It's not how the world works. If you, under a flag of truce, say we're going to have peace talks to try and end the violence, and you invite the opposition, whether it be Hezbollah, the IRA, the UVF, or Hamas, or Che Guevara and his gang, or Fidel Castro, it doesn't matter. If you invite those other people to negotiate, to try and find a way to peace, that is sacrosanct. That is sacrosanct. That is a country's honour at stake. And while those talks were going, the same week people were staying, going home and getting fed and coming back for more talks, bang! The Israelis zapped those apartments where these people killed them all, killed all the negotiators. Okay, that was in July. And then the 12-day war started, where Mr. Trump told us that every single aspect of the nuclear program that Iran had was absolutely and totally annihilated, that anybody who denied it would be sued. Anybody who denied it would be sued. Completely annihilated. That was July. And then, 4 or 5 weeks ago, in the middle of other negotiations and loose peace talks, Israel attacked, quickly followed by America, attacked Iran. Then we had the other night where there's other peace talks going on, and a piece of paper was produced by the president of Pakistan, a nuclear power, by the way, and presented to the Americans. And the word was, it's workable. Not we accept it, it's workable. Within 10 hours. That's a lie. That didn't exist. That never existed. That's a lie. It's preposterous. We would never accept that. And that is a lie. We never ever seen that. We never got it. That is a lie. That is a lie. And I have no reason to doubt the president of Pakistan. It's nonsense to suggest that never happened. It did happen. And it was a shocking list. I wouldn't agree to it. I would never have agreed to that list. Of course not. And I don't think Trump would either. But this is what happens in negotiations. You have a foundation for a negotiation, something we can take further. That's all it was. But to completely deny that ever existed in the first place is on a different level of deception. And it's a deception that's not worthy of such high office, in my opinion. But of course, we knew that any peace agreement would be, and I said that in my show the other day, Israel would try and scupper any attempt America had to make peace, any attempt Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's no stupid. People think Donald Trump's stupid. Donald Trump's far from stupid. And he knows this is an unwinnable war, and this is going to potentially plunge us into worldwide chaos. He's not stupid. And there's people around about him are no stupid, especially in the banking world and the big tech companies. And I've already heard on the grapevine that several of the big players in America, maybe even Elon, I don't know about Elon, I'm just saying that, but some of the big players have said to him, you need to pull back for this, President. This is really, really dangerous and no good for anybody. Let's pull back. So all Donald Trump needed was just something to get out of that the other night. And I think he took that and said, well, we'll deal with it later. But then everybody started denying it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. Because what did Israel go and do? As I predicted, as anybody sensible would predict, they deliberately scuppered any attempts of peace by, first of all, getting the UAE allies, their UAE allies, I know they're Arabs, but they're friendly with the Israelis, to go and bomb Karg Island. Can you imagine it? This is the night of the great peace deal. They bombed Karg Island. So Iran wasn't pleased at all. So they've bombed their oil refinery positions and bombed one in Saudi Arabia just for good measure as well, and kept bombing Israel. So although this was going on, Iran's never stopped. They've just said, well, look, we'll stop when we've got a deal. We don't have a deal. So we're still fine. The Straits of Hormuz is open. Donald Trump said it's open. I have cured it. The best deal ever in the world. Nobody in the world has ever done a deal like this. It's the best deal in the history of the world. That's it. Didn't even last an hour. Oh, they're shut again. Really? Yeah. So that's where we are. Israel will not allow America off the hook on this. The tail is wagging the dog. And I don't know if you know this, but yesterday, Israel did 160 airstrikes in 20 minutes, or even 10 minutes. A gigantic bombing campaign on Lebanon, which is 30% Christian. Now, did they bomb the south of Lebanon where a lot of it's Muslim? No, central Beirut. Beirut is about a 50-50 city, Christians and Muslims. It's a built-up city. It's like New York. It's full of skyscrapers and big tall buildings, but people live in their apartment blocks. And they did a massive, a frenzied, a crazed, an insane, a demonic, massive missile attack. In 10 minutes, 100 and something missiles plowed into that. There's 2,000 people dead. Many of them Christians. Many of them Christians. Different types of Christians. Catholics, evangelicals, Eastern Orthodox, Copts, Druze. Loads of people dead. There's no way Israel was ever going to allow America to accept that peace deal because they're crazed. And this is the problem. This is the problem. So even if Iran was capable of making a nuclear bomb, and I don't know how many of you know this, but the last, the Ayatollah that was killed in the early days of this war, he had issued a fatwa, which is an extraordinarily serious document. It's like a papal bull, that Iran was not allowed to develop nuclear weapons because they were haram. They were against Islam. Okay, so he'd done that. Now, whether they were still going to do it, I don't know. But let's just say, they managed to develop a nuclear bomb. Well, with the amount of uranium they had there, they could have developed maybe 9 small tactical nuclear warheads. Okay, just bear with me a minute. Because every time I speak to somebody in America, they say, we had to move because of the nuclear threat. This is what happened with Saddam. We had to invade because of the weapons of mass destruction could wipe us all out in 45 minutes. Do you remember that? I'm old enough to remember that. What was it? Nonsense. Anyway, let's just say Iran did manage to make these small nuclear weapons. Okay. And let's just say they were absolutely crazy enough to use a nuclear weapon. Because, you know, if they used a nuclear weapon, the world, America, Britain, France, everybody would blitz them. They would be gone. The civilization would be wiped out. Of course they would. They would be absolutely gone. There'd be no more Iran. So why would you do that? You got to say, would they really do that? Would they really do that? It's doubtful. But anyway, let's just say they did. So they've managed to make these nuclear bombs. They have decided to all commit mass suicide. Then you've got the problem, how did they deliver them? Who do you think these nuclear weapons went to? Now, when I speak to people, I spoke to a brother the other day, he said, America was in great danger. How? How is America in great danger? They don't have the capability of intercontinental ballistic missiles to reach America. They can barely reach Europe at a push. Never reach America. So let's just say they fired these nine, if they were lucky. Let's just say they managed to fire these 9 nuclear weapons in the direction of America. Never going to get there in a million years. But just let's say, through some miracle and fast forward 30 years of technology, they've got these intercontinental ballistic missiles that could carry these very small tactical nuclear weapons to America. So they've got to fly all over the Middle East, which is bristling with Patriot missile systems, bristling with every kind of missile system the world's ever seen, and the most sophisticated tracking devices the world has ever seen. It's right across the Middle East, okay? Then you hit Europe. We've got the same. And it's got to fly all the way across the Middle East with all these tracking devices and Patriot systems and batteries to take out. It's got to go through all that, then all the way through Europe. And then it's into 2,000 miles of the Atlantic Ocean. So America's sitting there. Oh, there's these rockets coming. They've managed to get through all their batteries and systems in the Middle East and Turkey and in Europe and Greece and all that. And they've managed to get through the UK's airspace. And now they're coming across the Atlantic. Honestly, folk. What drugs would you need to be taking? What alcohol would you need to be drinking? What pot would you need to be smoking to consider that a realistic possibility in a billion lifetimes? It is madness. And it's unworthy of grown adults even considering such a preposterous and ludicrous notion to justify you felt threatened by Iran's non-existent nuclear weapons. They may have produced a nuclear warhead in some time in the future, and the only people they would be inclined to fire at would be Israel. But then somebody else said to me, but Jim, you cannot have fanatical Muslims with nuclear weapons. Too late. Pakistan's got them. And Pakistan is a far bigger promoter of terrorism worldwide than Iran ever has been. You know, I don't know of any Iranian bombs going off in Europe. All the terror attacks that were done to people in Europe were done by Wahhabis who are financed entirely by Saudi Arabia, our allies. And this is where people need to be grown up, and people need to start reading books, and people need to educate themselves. Every single terrorist attack in Europe was done by Wahhabis. Wahhabis, not by Shias. No Iranian proxies. Now, Iranian proxies have been used against Israel, but that's a completely different setup. So do we attack anybody who attacks Israel? Is that it? That is it. That is it. That is it for America. Anybody attacks Israel, we're attacking you. That's it. So basically, America is the armed wing of Israel. Who signed up for that? Who signed up for that? Seriously. It's nonsense. But we need to be growing up in this, because the whole thing is becoming farcical. And the excuses are here. And then I'll tell you what's made me sad. Now, remember, Beirut is about 50% Christian. And those rocket attacks yesterday were unbelievable. They were the worst, most frenzied attack I've ever seen in my life. And just about every single comment on our social media pages, well, that's what they get for hiding Hezbollah. Are you mental? Do you honestly think Christian neighborhoods and Christian families are hiding Hezbollah? They hate them. But guess who the Lebanese Christians also hate? Israel. They despise them. They've just took half their country and zoned it and knocked down all the villages. Christian villages as well, flattened. You're not moving back here. So now we have 1.3 million displaced refugees wandering about. Where are they going to go? And now today, Israel said the whole of southern Beirut, a whole city, millions of people, has to be evacuated by tonight. This is insanity. Why has America got into bed with these people? America now is handcuffed, chained to Tel Aviv. It's like being chained to a madman. It's like being locked up, having been handcuffs put on you with a crazed, drug-fueled, mass-murdering lunatic. And that's what America has got themselves involved in out there. They are manacled to a maniac. I'm telling you the truth. America has been manacled to a maniac now, and it needs to break free. It needs to break free. Because this is damaging everybody. It's damaging the whole world, and it's damaging America. These people are crazy. And if Benjamin Netanyahu wants to go and try and destroy the world, let him try and do it himself. He'll get stopped eventually. But you can't stop him when he's got the power of America behind him. So he can do what he wants. And he is doing what he wants. And he's doing that. He's thumbing his nose at America. Trump is furious. Trump desperately wanted that peace thing to work. He did. He's not insane. He desperately wanted to work. Benjamin Netanyahu said, no, the war continues because we decide. Not you, Mr. Trump. We decide. So don't bother having the next election in America. Just invite Benjamin Netanyahu and let him take over the White House. He's running it anyway. What difference does it make? So there we go. Nick Griffin says the tail wag owns the dog. Exactly. And it needs to stop. Crazy stuff. Yep. John Kobasaki says here, Trump denied that he didn't deny it exists. He said he threw it in the bin. No, John, that was about 4 hours later. I watched it very carefully. They initially said never existed. It was a lie. And there's proof. It's out there. I've got the text saying this is a lie. We never seen anything like this. This never existed. This is a lie put out by CNN, and we're taking legal action. That's what was said. And then about 4 or 5 hours later, the press office, White House person said, oh, no, it did, but we threw it in the trash. So what is it? Just understand, you're being lied to on a scale that is unbelievable. Even a used car salesman wouldn't resort to this. No, they denied it. And then when they realized they couldn't deny it because the Pakistani president came out and said, no, it's actually real. I'm telling you it's real. They said, oh, we did. We threw it in the trash. That's exactly what happened. That's not my opinion. That is exactly what happened. Doesn't exist. It's all a lie. We're going to sue CNN. And then a few years later, when they couldn't deny it anymore, oh, it did exist, but we threw it in the trash. Come on. There's no need for this level of lies. And there's no reason for this level of gullibility for people. Remember, we serve God. We are loyal to our countries, not to individual men. And I'll tell you what's happening now. Some people on the right wing, my people, are lifting Donald Trump up to be a golden calf. He's not. He's a man. And he's surrounded with wicked advisors. I don't think he's a bad man. Campaigned for him twice. But he has got himself in the right pickle. And it's because of Israel, because of Benjamin Netanyahu has got Donald Trump by the proverbials, and he's squeezing hard. And they just need to get rid of that. That man is embarrassing America. That man's terrorizing America. The White House and the administration seem to be terrified of Benjamin Netanyahu. Ridiculous. They need to get rid of him. Jared Kushner, he's another one. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Roger Madison says there are too many people sucked into this mad theology that's very dangerous. Yeah, the Epstein Coalition, I think you're right. John Hagee. Yep, he's another one. I've got a thing on him. By the way, this is deeper than just theology. I'm telling you, this is much deeper. This is money. This is corruption. This is maybe blackmail. There's something unholy going on here. Because Trump's a proud man. Trump's a proud man. He's a petulant man as well. Very thin-skinned. And that's twice now. At the beginning of the war and now. That's twice. Twice. They have basically embarrassed Donald Trump and basically went against him. I just hope he finds the moral courage just to say, enough's enough. We're having no more to do with you guys. And then we'll all be free. But anyway, I want to show you just some of that footage here because there's mad stuff going here as well. We've got the army in the streets in the south of Ireland. The army on the streets of Ireland. I'll show you in a minute. Let's get through. Oh, before I do that, let me just, you know, do you think your government's crazy? Our government is completely certifiably insane. So do you remember a few years ago when the Ukraine war started, the Nord pipeline was cut? So the Russians have cut the pipeline, cut their own pipeline. I mean, seriously. And even then, I remember ranting and raving the Temple Report, trying to convince people they never cut their own pipeline. We did it. Oh, Jim. Oh, you're wrong, Jim. Then it turns out that Britain done it with Sweden cleaning it up and America get it directing the whole operation. So we did it. We did it. Craziness. But anyway, so Russia's been sniffing about and protecting their own interests. And the British today came out, puffed their chest out. We're not having this. So Britain, who couldn't fight the Boy Scouts, they couldn't fight anybody. We've got a boat that was built in Glasgow and it was, launched, and they had to paint the windows on because it had no windows. It doesn't matter anyway because it was only out a few months. And it's broke down and it's been towed back into the docks. They painted the windows on it. Do you remember that? They painted the window, a warship with no windows. Anyway, that's who we are. We couldn't fight anything. But today, one of our top brass comes out and starts threatening. Wait for it. Threat. Who could Britain threat? Maybe Jamaica. Maybe somebody like that. Grenada. Or, I don't know, El Salvador. We could maybe tackle them. Oh, no. Our government comes out and starts threatening Russia. Have a listen to this. Get a hanky, wipe up your tears of laughter.
I'm revealing details of a recent military operation. Undertaken by Russia. And in doing so, I'm doing this to expose the continuing Russian activity that threatens us in the UK and to highlight our constant readiness to respond. In the last few weeks, while the eyes of many were trained on the Middle East, the UK, in partnership with Norway and other allies, have responded to increased Russian activity in the Atlantic, north of the UK. This operation involved a Russian Akula-class attack submarine and a concurrent deployment of 2 specialist submarines from Gugi. That's Russia's main directorate for deep-sea research. And last November, I outlined how these Gugi units, including the spy ship Yantar, are vessels directed by President Putin to conduct hybrid warfare activities against the UK and our allies, specifically around critical undersea infrastructure. And for the first time today, we're releasing images of the Gugi base and of these vessels. They're designed to survey underwater infrastructure during peacetime and sabotage it in conflict. In response to the Russian submarines, I can confirm that I deployed our armed forces to track and to deter any malign activity by these vessels. A Royal Navy warship and Royal Aircraft P8 aircraft, Royal Air Force P8 aircraft, alongside allies, ensured that the Russian submarines were monitored 24/7. The Akula submarine subsequently retreated home, having been closely tracked throughout, and we continued to monitor the two Gugi submarines in and around wider UK waters. Our armed forces left them in no doubt that they were being monitored, that their movements were not covert, as President Putin planned, and that their attempted secret operation had been exposed. Those Gugi submarines have now left UK waters and headed back north. And this operation, which lasted more than a month, has now concluded. Our aircraft flew over 450 hours. Our frigate covered several thousand nautical miles, and 500 British personnel were involved in the response. And I'm making this statement to call out
I can't watch it anymore. He's talking rubbish. Listen, the only people who've interfered with cables, who have interfered with pipelines, was us, the Americans, and the Swedes. It was us. We did it. The Russians never done anything. But he's saying we sent our military. We sent our one operating warship. We sent our one skyplane. And the 500 personnel involved were probably all civil service in London, putting in expense claims. What a load of nonsense. It's like, yep, we told the Russians, we're on to you, boys, we're watching you, and they all went home. This isn't 1923 with a ferocious and the most powerful navy in the world. This isn't it then. This isn't it. This isn't it. This is the type of nonsense that you've got. And how come these people are also brave when it comes to Russia, but they're not brave when it comes to fighting Israel or any of them Arab countries? Different kettle of fish then. It is a pathetic attempt to make Britain look relevant or to pretend we even have an armed forces, because we don't. We don't. We couldn't fight anybody. Honestly, seriously, probably Trinidad and Tobago could invade in Britain. There's not much we could do about it. We've got thousands invading every week, running up the beaches in Dover, and we can do nothing about it. I have never seen such garbage in all my born days, but there we go. So, this is the thing with politicians. They lie. You can tell when they're lying because their mouths are moving. Anyway, let me show you this. Let me show you this just before we go off of that. Show you some of these clips from Beirut yesterday.
طلعت رفاعي هون طلعت رفاعي دربور طلعت رفاعي هون طلعت رفاعي دربور
Imagine bombs. Imagine 160 huge rockets being fired into the middle of Brooklyn or Los Angeles or any big city in America. Imagine it. 160 of them in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. Are you joking? In a heavily populated city. And what shocks me, I was so despondent today. I thought, I don't even know what I want to talk about this anymore, because nearly every single respond to a post on social media, and I've got to say, almost to a person, was Americans saying, well, who cares? There seems to be this lack of humanity, this lack of understanding of human suffering. That massive bomb you seen going off in a block of flats, there's women, there's mums, there's dads, there's grandmothers, grandfathers, babies, wee children, little school kids and all that. Now they're in bits. Now their bodies are strewn all over the road. 2,000 people killed yesterday. 160 rockets launched in the middle of a city. At least half of the deaths are Christian people, our people. The people are going, well, so what? They're going after Hezbollah. It's their fault. The callousness that I find in some people in the West, the total disregard for humanity and human life is not only humanly tragic, but it's borderline blasphemy against God himself. It's an outrage. It's an outrage. It's just so bad. Now, talking about the title of the show was today, and of course, when people do speak out, like the Pope, he gets a load of snash. I don't know if you've seen this. Have a look at this. Oh, wait a minute. I'll show you that first. There you go. There it's there. Israel drops 160 bombs in Lebanon in 10 minutes after the truce. After the truce. Do you understand? Americans, Israel is playing you like a fool. You're dancing for them. You're like a dancing bear for Benjamin Netanyahu. Your mighty military is only used as a tool for Benjamin Netanyahu. The whole world can see it. The only people who can't see it are you guys. But look, the Pope can see it. And because he spoke out, look at this. Wait, you hear this? Oh, no, that's a different thing. Sorry. I don't have that thing, actually. Anyway, I told you, an official from the Pentagon actually threatened a representative of the Holy See. Are you joking me? Are you serious? This is how mad things have got. Threatening the Pope. I never thought I'd live to see the day. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. I've never seen anything like it. But that's what's happening. Anyway, showing you this now. Look at this here. This is what's happening. So, give you the context. The last few days, the Irish farmers have been on strike and they've been going into the cities with their tractors protesting about the price of fuel, because the price of fuel here is crazy, folks. It's like $5 a litre. It's gone mad. And our heating oil, nobody can put heating oil in anymore. It's just went crazy. Anyway, so the farmers have been protesting, and quite rightly so, they're protesting. So the Irish government, now, during the days of the Troubles, with the IRA and the bombing campaigns and all the terrorism, the Irish army were never deployed. But I didn't even know there was one, to be honest with you. But anyway, seemingly there is. And so this week, the Irish government, and I think I had the thing there, the headline. There you go. Look. Defence forces will be deployed and vehicles blocking critical infrastructure removed. Minister of Justice. Okay? You don't deploy them to rid us of the invaders, but the Irish people trying to campaign peacefully for their rights. And here's a video of them here. Where is that video? I've got a video. There we go. Have a look at this.
So when it comes to home insurance, it makes sense to choose cover that...
In Ireland, military vehicles on the streets being used against peaceful, highly respectable, tax-paying, hard-working farmers. Not against the IRA, not against the the Muslim invasion. No. Used against desperate farmers who cannot make their ends meet, who are losing their farms, who are going out of business, who are losing the land that their fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers have farmed for hundreds of years. They survived the famine when everybody else from that village had to go to America to survive with their stomach stuck to their backbone. They stayed. They toughed it out. They buried their children. When the only sound in the valley could be heard was the last crying baby before they died. They stayed and made a success of that land. They stayed and made a success of Ireland. And now they've been put out of business by a greedy socialist government who are green maniacs and globalists. So they protest peacefully. They're not like the French. They're not burning things. They're not attacking things. They're protesting peacefully and quietly in the cities and towns with their tractors, and they have the wholesale backing of the Irish people. And what happens? The Irish government put military vehicles against them. This is outrageous. And people say to me, Jim, why don't you support an Irish Ireland? That's because I don't. At least up here, we've got guns. And if they dared put their military vehicles in our streets, they wouldn't be going home. I can tell you that for nothing. They wouldn't be going home. We would destroy them. We would annihilate them. This is outrageous. And I hope the Irish people rise up and destroy them. And better than that, I hope the army refuse to be deployed against the people. I hope they just say, no, we're not doing it. But I think they will do it because the Irish Army now has been recruiting heavily from the invaders. A lot of the Irish Army now are Africans and Muslim, Arabs. So they have no love for the Irish people. I'll tell you in a bad way, pray for Ireland. Please pray for Ireland. This is serious business. Serious business indeed. Yeah. It's no good at all. What have we got here? Scott Phillips says, Malachim, they shall build and they will throw down. Yep, absolutely. This is what's going on. This is what's going on in Ireland. Who would have believed it? It's unbelievable, but it's happening and it's real. And, you know, a lot of this, the whole world is in a state because there's no religious leadership now. The Catholic Church in Ireland's wishy-washy, liberal, bringing in a lot of immigrants, supporting immigrants. The people are abandoned. The IRA, they're Marxist communists. They're supporting immigrants. So people like Niall McConnell, they've got nobody. Only people like us support them. I mean, we shall support them to the very bitter end, believe it or not. We will not budge. We will help our Irish brethren. 100%, no questions asked. Simple as that. But it's people like this lunatic that's causing all this aggro. Listen to what this lunatic says. This is this Hagee character. A lot of people don't know who he is, but this guy's got so much power in America, you wouldn't believe it. Massive power and big power when it comes to getting presidents elected. I know it's hard to believe, but listen.
He has placed his name there. That's in the Bible. Jesus Christ will rule the world from there for 1,000 years during the millennial reign. Isaiah 40 verse 1, God's command to Christians is this: comfort ye my people, saith your God. There are two elements in this verse. One group is being comforted and the second group is doing the comforting. It is the mission of the church to comfort and to bless the Jewish people. That's that simple. Isaiah 62:1 says, for Zion's sake, that's Jerusalem, I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest. This is God's promise to never stop working while the restoration and peace of Jerusalem are at risk. The most terrorizing headlines that Satan will ever read is that Jesus Christ has returned to Jerusalem. What do Christians and Jews have in common? One, both of us serve the same God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Some of you have other gods. The God you serve is the face you see in the mirror, but the real God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Both Christians and Jews get their spiritual roots from Abraham.
Well, there you go. Hard to tell you. I could get into a theological argument here, but just take my word for it. The man is a gibbering fool, an utter crackpot, and no doubt either deranged, mentally deranged, or getting a lot of money for saying this stuff. Now, I just seen a wee thing there. John Coppesakis, your Temple Church does stand for God's word. You better believe it, John, and always will. I'd pull it down with my bare hands if it didn't. What did I see there? Andy Lightman, he's took the shekel. Andy said he ordered something, never got it. Oh, flag pack is 27th of March. Well, that was Friday. That was Good Friday, wasn't it? So your order wouldn't even have been hitting this office until the 2nd or 3rd of April. So that was like 4 days ago. So no, it'll be getting posted out probably this week. But no, we're no Amazon, folks. We're not Amazon. I know, crazy. I ordered something from Amazon the other night, 5 o'clock at night, came here the next day. How can that be? No, with us, it's a week to 2 weeks for normal stuff. If it's weapons, it could be 2 months. So, but we're getting better. We're getting better. So let me just quickly rattle through this before we go. There's a couple of nice things to listen to. I'm going to finish the day anyway on a really nice song that a lot of Catholics will definitely like. But look at this. The other night there, 2 nights ago, in the middle of London, there was a bit of a standoff between Muslim invaders and local English lads. And it's good to see. Good to see. People say, Jim, you're a minister. You should be supporting violence. Listen, when our people stand up for themselves, not attack people randomly, but when they defend their culture, their land, their women folk, I'll be right behind them or right in front of them. Have a wee look. Well, they were good stuff, but the only thing that was worrying there, the only people who had the actual boxing skills were the Muslims. Because most mosques have got a boxing club attached. They used to do that in Britain with the Catholic churches. Catholics were a minority and they sometimes get bullied. So what the Catholic Church has done, rightly so, was the priests always built a boxing club. So every Roman Catholic church here had a boxing club so the young Catholics could defend themselves. That's what the Muslims do. And our lads need to start doing that, and pretty quick. Tom Hidden figures in. How you doing, Tom? God bless you, my friend. Very good. So I'm going to leave you this wee tiny bit of music, and the Ensley, not this one, this is the second last one, because we need to cheer ourselves up after all this lunacy and madness, because goodness knows what's going to happen now. Who knows? Really, who knows? But I'm going to leave you later on in a minute with a beautiful rendition of Ave Maria. It's a rosary set to music, isn't it? And just because I do think there's anti-Catholic stuff going on right now in the White House and the administration. I really do. Most of the administration is Jewish. So it's not coming from the Protestants. Somebody said the other day, I seen that filthy reprobate Milo, he said he's a Catholic, but he's married to a black man. And he says it's the Catholics and Muslims against the evangelicals and the Jews. Really? I'd rather gouge my eyes out with a spoon. Are you kidding? So the anti-Catholic stuff that's coming out of the White House, I don't think it's coming out from anybody who's non-Catholic as such. I think it's coming from a certain lobby in there and people like Paula White. And I've got to say, I'm very suspicious of Pete Hesketh. He seems to have turned into a fire-breathing, crazed fundamentalist. And any of this kind of anti-Catholic stuff, this is madness. And then a papal nuncio being spoken to the way he was spoken to, more or less a threat. The Catholic Church needs to decide what side it's on. The Catholic Church doesn't need to decide anything of the sort, my friend. And let me tell you something. Not just Donald Trump will come and go, and Pete Hesketh will come and go, and Rubio will come and go, and all the rest of it. But America will come and go, and the Catholic Church will still remain. Do you understand? It's been there a long time. If the administration starts trying to flex their muscles with the Roman Catholic Church, again, I'm going to repeat it. My advice would be stop it. Don't do it. You won't win. You won't win. All right? Do not do it. It'll be a bad mistake, and you won't recover from it. So don't do it. Leave the Catholics alone. And if a good Ulster Protestants can say that, it shows you it's bad, because I can see it. I can see it, and I don't like it. All right? I don't like it one bit. They need to lay off. So I'm going to let you hear this. Finish up. We need to remember our humanity. And this is what's making me angry. I'm getting angry because even our people, our right-wing people, are losing their humanity. When these bombs go off in Tehran, when these bombs go off in Lebanon, it's women and children underneath those bombs. People say, well, they could have attacked us, but they haven't attacked us. They haven't. There's been no bombs going off in Seattle or Washington or Tupelo, Mississippi. None, zero. But our bombs are going off in Tehran and Isfahan and Lebanon and Beirut and these places. And people every hour are being butchered, blown to bits. People are trying to pick up the body parts of their children. And we're going, well, so what? That's war, isn't it? War, civilians getting blown up. This is outrageous. We've lost our humanity. And here's a beautiful music about the death of our Lord and Saviour and a mother mourning his death, the Blessed Virgin. But I think this is happening on a minute-by-minute basis right now in Lebanon as Israel are blowing up families every minute of every day in that country. Many of them Christians. But I don't care if they're Muslims or Christians or heathens or atheists. It's not right. But listen to this and contemplate the pain of a mother losing her child. So really, just as Mary mourned the death of her son, our Lord Jesus Christ, we need to be compassionate and human beings. We can become numb to sort of the war pornography that we're surrounded with, but we should never be numb. When you see these gigantic bombs going off in Lebanon, imagine living in this street. How many bits of children and fathers and mothers went up in the air with that? And that's happened that in 10 minutes, 160 of those missiles hit. My goodness, what have we became? Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this beautiful song. It's a great rendition of Ave Maria. And I hope some of them, it's a pity we can't tie down Pete Hesketh and Paula White and make them listen to this, because their idea of Christianity and mine is, I think, a bit different. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. God bless you all. Pray for our nations, pray for our leadership, and I want you to specifically pray for Donald Trump. Yes, pray that Donald Trump would have wise counsel, godly counsel around him, and he could break free from that monster, that war criminal, that demon from the pit of hell, Benjamin Netanyahu. Pray that America frees itself from the clutches of the Zionists. So I'll leave you with this. God bless you all. I'll be back on Sunday if the good Lord preserves me. But until then, a happy, holy Thursday from the Orthodox people. And join me on Sunday. We'll have a very good Easter service. And bring some family in, bring your friends in, invite them all in, and let us worship together in spirit and in truth. God bless you all. And remember, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Deus Vult.
It's wonderful. One more. This is the last one. Thank you for being so fantastic. From Franz Schubert, Ave Maria.